I was Samantha Irvin, I wouldn't be too concerned. There's nobody over at AEW that I'm like, oh, yeah, that girl can take it.
It's like you put a challenge out to them, like, hey, AEW Women's Division, do you think you can take Ricochet away from his fiance?
I mean, there are pretty
Toni
women.
doesn't.
I'm not saying they're ugly, but they're not Samantha Irvin bomb as fuck women. Like, I mean, come on now.
All right, we haven't done wrestling in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
A lot has happened.
A lot.
A lot has happened. The big thing we're going to talk about today is free agency, because this is crazy. How many like free agents there are or going to be. This hasn't happened, I don't think, ever. That like these reports come out. It's like the NFL, the NBA, like oh, free agency. What are they going to do? Where are they going to go? You know, the biggest one came out. We're recording this on Sunday before watching NXT Battleground. And the biggest one, obviously, came out yesterday, and the story's going back and forth, is Ricochet.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Ricochet? I think we've talked about this before, but how do you feel about Ricochet right now?
I feel like it's like, I'm disappointed.
In what?
I like Ricochet as a wrestler, and I feel like if he wants to grow as a personality, a talker, the place for that growth is WWE.
No.
I feel like he's just going to fall into this like, oh, he's not a personality, he's just a great wrestler vibe at AEW, and it's not going to be anything different.
It's been 7 years, though. 6 or 7 years he's been in the company. 3 years ago, he resigned. He was left off of WrestleMania. And, like, the consolation prize was, hey, you're the new Speed Champion, and you lose in the King of the Ring, and Braun Breaker destroys you as soon as he gets moved to Raw. Like, he's I don't know if he has a real personality. People keep saying that it does and shine through, but if it hasn't happened in this amount of time, from his NXT time to now under Vince and a Triple H, when's it going to happen? What's his personality going to be?
Oh, okay, fine.
Why are you talking so quietly?
I don't know. You're very animated about this. You sound like me when I talk about the Real Housewives.
Right, but I mean, you say, like, oh, it's going to happen in WWE. It hasn't, though. And that's the thing. There's starting to be this fine line as AEW starts to shift more towards where the best wrestle, where they're clearly telling their fans, casual viewers, potential fans, the entertainment here is going to come from in the ring primarily.
Yeah.
Character and story is going to be here, but it's not our primary focus. Whereas Triple H is trying to make the stories more intricate, more layered, more detailed, and bring that about, as we've seen across the board. But for somebody like Ricochet, he's not there. How long is it going to take for him to have a character other than he's an incredible wrestler, an incredible flyer, and his fiance is front row every week to react to him on TikToks? I mean, that's the first thing you said when you heard that he might leave, is like, what's going to happen with Samantha Irvin?
Well, I mean, I know people who are married or in a relationship can work at two different places.
Right.
But I just think it's nice perk to like work with your future husband.
Right. But I mean, there's plenty of couples that currently exist that have done both. Like Keith Lee and Mia Yim work in different companies. Aleister Black, Selena Vega. Before Andrade returned, Andrade and Charlotte Flair were, in separate companies.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's not the biggest issue. I mean, I'm disappointed to see him leave. I do like.
It's not 100% yet. As of right now, I mean,
what do you mean it's not 100%? They said that he said to WWE people that he's not coming back.
Yeah, a news site confirmed it. Okay, great. It didn't come from his mouth. He didn't confirm it. WWE.
He's not denying it either. He's shockingly quiet about what's going on.
But here's the thing, and that's another part of this whole discussion is these stories are coming out regularly now from people who are a month or two away from free agency to a year away from free agency in the case of like Kevin Owens. I think they're starting to leak these stories to the wrestling news media themselves or through back channels as a negotiation tactic.
Or just to create buzz. I could see that just creating buzz.
That's what I'm saying. It's a negotiation tactic to kind of gauge the fans' reaction to, oh my God, is this person leaving? Like, well, what do the fans think? For somebody like Ricochet, who people feel is like stuck in the mid card, like, would this buzz around him possibly leaving change things? They'd be like, oh wow, the internet's like ablaze that they don't want Ricochet to go to AEW or New Japan or wherever. And then maybe they rethink it. Maybe they make him a better offer. Maybe they tell him, come up with a better creative plan for him going forward. Because, I mean, that seems to be a thing on both sides of the coin here, WWE and AEW, where people get to one place or the other and then they don't like their creative direction. And so especially for him now, I mean, he clearly doesn't like, the Speed Championship. I don't know. He's already dropped that. Spoiler for people who haven't seen it yet. I mean, it was all the internet who he dropped it to. But, yeah, I think AEW is the place for him. I mean, Will Ospreay has publicly kind of. But what is that? What are you rolling your eyes for? I know how much you love Will Ospreay.
I don't like Will Ospreay.
Why?
Well, I can choose not to like somebody. I have to explain myself. It's a feeling. It's a vibe.
You stopped watching AEW.
I did. It's boring.
Let's be frank
It's
about
so
that.
boring. There's nothing. You know what? I hope Ricochet goes to AEW because then I'll turn it on. I'll turn it on and I'll watch it.
So he's a channel changer for you.
He would move the needle.
So
he would move the needle.
Over Will. What if it's Ricochet for Will? What if it's Ricochet versus Will Ospreay? What do you do then? You don't like Will. You love Ricochet. What do you do?
I'll watch it.
You watch with one eye open. Like, look at him go. So Ricochet would make you change the channel.
Yeah.
All right, before we go any further, hi. Welcome back to, or if you're watching for the first time or listening for the first time, your Mean to Me podcast. Last show I said, you're so mean to me podcast. I threw an extra word in there. I don't know why I did
Were you
that.
mad at me that day? Was I so mean to you?
You're so mean to me. Like I was legitimately upset. No. But yeah, we're on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, anywhere you get podcasts, you can find the audio RSS feed. All our links in the link tree. You want to do it? You like to do it too. No?
I didn't wear my wedding ring today, so I don't want to show my hand. I feel like you're going to get mad at me.
This is what's going to happen to Ricochet and Samantha Irvin. He's going to forget his ring. She's like, why don't you wear your ring at AEW?
I heard that he likes to dip his pen in the company ink.
You heard that from me.
I still heard it. I have a source. The source is right here.
This is like when you said you heard that Mercedes Moné was booty on the mic. I was like, from your brother in a text message that you told me about before the show.
Stop giving out my sources.
Your sources are your blood relatives and your husband.
Those are sources.
Oh, well, Ricochet has, he has a son from a previous relationship, but he's also dated Tessa Blanchard. He's dated Katana Chance, a.k.a. Casey Catanzaro, and now Samantha Irvin. So,
to be fair, if I was Samantha Irvin, I wouldn't be too concerned. There's nobody over at AEW that I'm like, oh, yeah, that girl can take it.
Wow, just shit on the whole AEW roster. There's nobody there. That now it's like you put a challenge out to them, like, hey, AEW Women's Division. Do you think you could take Ricochet away from his fiance?
I mean, there are pretty
Toni
women.
doesn't.
I'm not saying they're ugly, but they're not Samantha Irvin bomb as fuck women. Like, come on now.
All right.
They got no booties over there. The only one that does is maybe. No, I can't think of any.
This Toni Storm? No, you said she just has a wide.
She's just wide bodied.
This episode has taken a turn.
Welcome to body shaming. Toni Rollins.
Female body shaming from a female.
I'm not shaming them. I'm not saying they look ugly. I'm not. But there is a female form that is considered more aesthetically pleasing to the human eye, and it belongs to Samantha Irvin, okay? None of the women at AEW have that. Are they slim and fit? Sure. But are they, like, giving? No.
Back to free agency.
Definitely not Deanna Pratt.
All right, we're just gonna. Who else would you like to trash before we move on? Anybody else?
Who's catching strays? Willow ain't getting it, so.
All right. Well, there's that. Speaking of the women's division, Becky Lynch. I mean, that's been going on now for a while.
Bitch ain't going nowhere.
You don't think
I'm
so?
not entertaining this conversation. She ain't going nowhere. She wants to go and be a mama right now, but she's not leaving WWE. She's not. No. I mean, Tony Khan can try. Is it Tony Khan?
Really? The man you openly called?
For some reason, when it came out of my mouth, I'm like, is that the name? Is that his name?
We don't do a wrestling podcast for 2 weeks to focus on reality.
It didn't sound right as I was saying it.
What's his name? Vance McMurn? Is it Vance McMurn?
But anyways, Tony Khan can try. He could try and like throw some of the seeds and see if she picks at it, but whatever. But
well, here's the thing, and this kind of goes across the board for a lot of the people that are coming up: the Kevin Owens, the Becky Lynch, even the Ricochet. Money and schedule, and I know we all know about the grind and Will Ospreay and the grind comment, and it won't go away. People keep talking about it, ragging on it, because he didn't do Dynamite this week. People, some dumb news website said he was taking a sabbatical. Like, get over yourself. Like taking a sabbatical.
Why are you so angry?
Because it's not real news. Everybody just wants to paint this picture of Will Ospreay as somebody who's like trying to live the easy life in professional wrestling. Forget all that. There's after you're doing this a long enough time, the thing they call in wrestling is called the bump card. Everybody's got a bump card. You know, your body can only take so much. There was a story that came out. Randy Orton in a podcast interview said his back's been bothering him for 5 or 6 years, and Vince told him he couldn't go off the road and heal it. And then it finally gave out. He had to have surgery, and the rest is history. But look, when you get to a certain point, money and family time and schedule matter. And AEW offers a alternative to the WWE grind of doing house shows and a lot of international shows now and all this stuff. So why, if the schedule and the money was right, why wouldn't Becky Lynch want to divert there for maybe 3 years, let's say? And
I also think that at a certain point in any organization, and I think WWE too, you get to a place where you've gotten enough goodwill, you have succeeded, and you have shown and proven yourself as, what do they call it? Not employees, but employee. That you can
independent contractor.
Yeah. You can kind of decide, like, I'm going to push back on this. You want me here, but I need you to be flexible because I want to be a mom. I want to be available. I don't want to wrestle. I'm not going to commit to this many house shows. So I think there is a point in your career where you have the leverage to push back on a WWE.
I think that it's happened already. I mean, Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns are the perfect example.
Yeah, so I don't see how, like, everybody's saying that that's going to be a draw. Like, is it a draw for someone like...
But you have to get to that level. Is Becky Lynch...
I'm not done. I didn't finish talking. I'm saying, is it a draw for someone like Ricochet? Sure, because, I mean, as good as he isn't at that level where he can start, like, demanding things. Is it something for Becky Lynch and Kevin Owens? Sure. These are title holders. These are people who are clearly fan favorites. And Becky Lynch and Kevin Owens have earned that. At least I think so. If WWE lets them walk away because of scheduling issues, then now they're just being foolish.
I mean, yeah, but I think money comes into play too. I mean, AEW is starting to shed some contracts. You're starting to hear about some people walking away. Their time is up. They're not coming back.
I still think WWE has more money. I don't care how much is in Tony Khan's bank account. I don't care. You know how much money they're getting paid just to run these speed things on Twitter? Like, they get paid by cities to host WrestleMania. Like, you can't tell me there's more money at AEW. There's really more money at AEW.
I'm not saying it depends on what they're offered. It depends on the level. I think Tony Khan is throwing more wild amounts of money at name talent now because that's all.
But that's not good. You can't do that forever.
Exactly. So you have to shed some of the lower level talent to free up that money. It's like a salary cap in any one of the major sports. You know, like, but that's the thing. He's starting like, okay, if his CFO's like, you know what, we got to shed, 10 lower level dudes to sign Kevin Owens or 10, talent overall to sign Becky Lynch and something like. Look, we can debate all day about the money and the schedule and all that nonsense. What it really boils down to, and I think what's boiling down to for Ricochet, is how he's presented. And to be left off WrestleMania at this point in his career and to be given this like consolation prize of this dumb speed title and then losing King of the Ring, like, he sees the writing on the wall. If I sign up for another 3 years here, nothing's going to change. There's too many people that are coming up from NXT that have already passed him. You've got Dragunovs, Carmelo Hayes, Braun Breaker's already getting the rocket strapped to him. And there's story that his stock is going up, dramatically, quickly. So, I mean, he already sees that next generation, that next group starting to move in on his current mid-card spot. And how are they not going to push him down, keep him there? He's not going to main event at WrestleMania. He's not going to main event, and they're not going to push him to that level. Could he main event an AEW pay-per-view? 100%. Because his style matches up with more of the people there. He's had him versus Swerve, him versus Ospreay, him versus Orange Cassidy, him versus Kenny Omega if he gets healthy again someday. Like, there's so many. MJF, that's the biggest one. Like, I would love for his first feud to be with MJF. Because I think MJF would really be like, hey, buddy, like that 3-minute speed championship. Like, did your girlfriend give you that or WWE?
I think so. I mean, I guess.
You think so? You think it only lasts 3 minutes?
What?
Huh?
I think that, at least for him, it's going to be harder to drop the ball. Because I feel like they dropped the ball with Mercedes because the women's division over there is booty. So they really couldn't.
No. Don't start with that again. How is it booty? You don't watch anymore.
Booty.
You don't watch anymore.
It's my opinion.
It's your opinion based on the little bit you watch, and now you're not watching it.
Because they're not drawing me in. There's nothing drawing me in.
Okay, but if
I watched Mercedes and Willow on that. What was that?
Double or Nothing.
Double or Nothing?
Yeah.
And it was nothing?
That was a great match.
Okay.
And then she...
Was it enough of a wait? Like, was it worth the wait that we had?
Now she's wrestling regularly. So yeah, she's wrestling this Wednesday again. She wrestled on the previous Dynamite. She wrestled on this Dynamite. She's wrestling at Forbidden Door. She's finally starting to pick up a regular schedule. So all the criticism I laid on them for the dropping the ball, I'd say they dropped the ball, but they picked it back up, and now we're starting the slow dribble down the court. Are we still talking about wrestling?
Anyways, I do think there's more of. No, I forgot what I was going to say because you yelled at me for no reason.
You said Ricochet would make you change the channel. Would Becky Lynch make you change the channel? Would Becky Lynch make you watch AEW if she went there?
I kind of want to see it out of curiosity, not like that. I'm not a huge Becky Lynch fan.
That's why anybody watches wrestling out of curiosity. Like I know, but like.
But I would because I do like Ricochet. I like watching Ricochet. I like his style. But like I'm not a huge Becky Lynch fan, but I like to see what they do and how they handle her. Because at this point, it's more just like seeing if AEW is going to screw up. You know, like
you want to see if they drop the ball and how badly they drop the ball, just based on Mercedes.
And if they do well, listen, I give them their kudos. I pat them on the back if they do it well. Like you
have to watch the show to do that.
They're not drawing me in. The same old people, and they have. First of all, there's so many people on the roster, and I didn't even know that they were like. You told me the other day, Jeff Jarrett. I was like, I haven't seen Jeff Jarrett on my TV.
Did you want to see Jeff Jarrett on your TV?
I'm just saying that I didn't know that all these people existed.
You a big Jeff Jarrett fan all of a sudden?
I like Jeff. Was he the one with the guitar?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. He came with Deborah, right?
Oh, my God.
Wasn't he tag teaming with Owen Hart?
Yes.
Yes, I was a big Jeff Jarrett fan. What are you talking about?
Who are you? It's a woman shitting on Will Ospreay, and you're like, Jeff Jarrett. Now, if he was on my TV, I'm tuning in. Where's that guitar slap nuts? Really?
Have I not talked about my love of Jeff Jarrett before?
No, we might have to stop this podcast and just regroup and then just focus on why you love Jeff Jarrett and his Owen Hart tag team fate. Oh my God.
I mean,
wow.
I just make sure we're talking about the same guy because you're making it sound like I'm not supposed to like Jeff Jarrett.
There's only one Double J, baby.
So I don't know what the issue is. Doesn't everybody love Jeff Jarrett?
You know he started TNA, right?
No, I don't follow. What's off the
he started TNA.
main
he
stage?
was
I don't
TNA
follow the
for
side stages.
He doesn't own it anymore, obviously, but yeah, he started TNA. Anyway, wow. All right, that just
revelation right here.
So for you, it's more like, will this person get? Because that's the thing now. I feel like it's fair to say like you have given up on AEW. You're not even going to attempt to watch it unless I force you to watch like a clip.
There's no like, especially with the women. I feel like it's the same old storyline. I mean, they did change. Like they did that thing with like who was Willow's partner?
Chris Statlander. She's turned on her.
Yeah, she turned on her, and it's like, but everybody saw that coming.
And but that's the thing. You say everybody saw that coming, but if they don't deliver it, then it doesn't make any sense. Like this stuff happens in wrestling. I think you're at.
Why are you asking me a question and interrupt me?
You're at a level now where you see these things coming because you're like, oh, we know this is happening. But now look, now they're going to meet in the Owen Hart tournament probably at some point, which leads to a title shot at All In. So the story keeps going. So they're telling a very good story here.
But this like Toni Storm Mariah May thing is dragging on. It makes me very uncomfortable to watch. And
you missed last week when Mariah had Mina Shirakawa and Toni in her.
I mean, to be fair,
in her bosoms.
To be fair, the Liv and like Dominik Mysterio stuff is also making me very uncomfortable. So, lots of discomfort going around.
But here's the funny thing about that. I think we might talk about in the reality episode briefly. Like, you like drama. You like relationship drama. It's one of the things about.
Oh, no. I would have loved this if it was just like a love triangle situation. And like, you found out that he stepped out on Rhea. Now it's like Rhea and Liv are fighting over Dom. But this weird angle they're taking where clearly Liv's being pushy and aggressive and Dom's trying to be like resisting. That makes me very uncomfortable.
And a guy with that mustache resisting.
No, but also, someone said it on Twitter, and I agree. And like, I'm going to get so much hate because everybody be like, oh, you can't have fun no more with things. But if roles were reversed and it was a guy trying to be forceful on a woman, the woman was like backing off, like, it wouldn't look good today's age, right? You just don't do those things.
It would mean Vince was back in charge.
And hold on. To that point, people kept going back and rewatching all of Vince's old, like, vignettes and all these like old spots and talking about like, oh, we should have seen it coming that he was a creep. So you can't take issue with like shit from the 90s and the like from the Vince era and then sit here and say, but this is fine.
Well, he's not saying no. He's not pushing her away. He's
but it's just, I don't like it. It's a very gray area that I don't like to play around with. I'm like, it's
interesting. It's interesting.
It's fine. Like, do I hate it? No, but it just makes me uncomfortable.
It's cringe. It's cringy to you.
It is cringy.
All right.
It is. Like, I don't want to change the channel, but I shut my eyes and then like peek. Like, what's going on?
I can't look away, but
It's like a really bad car crash. Like, you do like bottlenecking, but like, or rubbernecking. What is it?
yeah,
You bottleneck, but then you like, that's horrible.
rubbernecking. Yeah. Oh, I'm like sweating now. That's hilarious. The Jeff Jarrett thing now. Whew. All right, so back to the free agent stuff. Who else are you a fan of from the late '90s that I don't know about? The other one, there's a lot. I know I didn't think we were going to talk about it all, but Chad Gable's a big one.
He's going nowhere.
Huh?
He's going nowhere.
Well, I don't know. I mean, yes, this is the funny thing, though. Like, he's the sense of someone that's like, yeah, he's embroiled in a very long-running storyline, long-term storyline.
And it's picking up. It's heating up. Like, they're getting some reactions from the crowd that you're like, ooh.
The Otis almost turn. They're edging on this one. They're really Adam Copelanding on this one. He's been talking to the Creed brothers. Is kind of like, because everybody's been saying for a while. That's something that came on the internet like a while ago. That maybe they're going to join the Alpha Academy. Maybe he's going to turn. Like everything with him and Sammy. Everything with the Alpha Academy. His contract is apparently up. I believe was up Friday or this Friday. Like it's up, but he's booked for Clash at the Castle. So it's like, is he who's got the upper hand here? Is he doing this to get more money out of WWE? Could he pull who was it? Was it Rick Rude and show up on like Dynamite and right after Clash of the Castle? Like I don't know. I don't know. I mean, he's one. I'll say I don't think he should go to AEW.
I don't think so either.
I don't think so at all. I don't think it would fit.
I think he works well with like a group. Like a faction? Faction?
There's enough extra people in AEW who can easily form a faction. I was actually thinking about the other day. I would love to see, if it was me, I'd love to see Dark Order disband. I'd like to see Evil Uno just go do something else. And I'd love to see Reynolds and Silver, who are incredible in ring and really charismatic, entertaining guys. I'd love to see Chad Gable come in and take them and form some sort of new academy or something like that. That was just an idea that popped into my head.
I feel like right now he's more a personality than a great wrestler. So I don't think he fits in with the AEW stuff. Like I just enjoy watching him be the asshole he is now.
Right. And I know I come across a lot like everybody should go to AEW. There's more money there. But like for him specifically, it's like, no, dude. Like you're on such a entertaining run right now, and this storyline, like it's definitely going to culminate with you winning the Intercontinental title at some point, unless they've lost their minds. Like going to AEW, like nah, like it just wouldn't work. I don't feel like he fits in there right now. And he's one of the few I'd say that about. Like Kevin Owens, they're talking about him going. Kevin Owens absolutely fits in AEW. Ricochet, definitely. Becky Lynch, they could definitely find room for her. Huge opportunity there for her. But yeah, Chad Gable's a no-go for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Now back to this Jeff Jarrett stuff.
Why is it so weird?
I just because that's like a part of Jeff Jarrett's career. I don't think a lot of people like talk about ever. I mean, a lot of people talk about Owen Hart. Owen Hart comes up regularly now because of this Owen Hart tournament that AEW's been doing for the past few years. And this year it's got more value because the winners are going on to All In. So it's really gonna kind of determine what happens there, like who's the champion, everything. Like it's still a couple months away, but the value in that tournament's up dramatically. Just I think they did it to counter King of the Ring because now Gunther and Nia Jax have the title shots at SummerSlam, so for those belts. But yeah, I love tournaments. Are you a big fan of tournaments? No, all right. So it's an audio podcast.
I mean, I have no like strong opinion about them either way. I didn't know we were going to discuss about our love of tournaments or not.
I love tournaments. Let's see. Anybody else in the free? Oh, the one of those two. I mean, the Hardys are going to be. Matt Hardy's already a free agent. Jeff's going to be. I'm just sorry. The Hardys are done to me. I feel like they've been around for so long.
I do love the Hardys.
I loved the Hardys. I don't care now. They've bounced around so much over the last several years of their career, from TNA to WWE to AEW to Rehab. It's kind of hard to give a shit about them anymore. And I say that as a longtime fan of theirs, which is kind of like, I think both you guys need to ride off into the sunset. Or
are they not real brothers?
Yeah, they're real brothers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the other ones that aren't real brothers, the black and white one.
What?
The Dudley Boys.
The Dudley Boys are not real brothers. The black and white ones. Oh, boy.
But I say that wasn't true.
The last one I want to talk about, this is great. We got about a few more minutes before we stop, is Penta El Zero Miedo, who the first time you saw, you didn't understand what he was saying, or you disagreed that meant zero fear? I forget what that was. No?
Is he on WE?
No, AEW.
Oh, yeah, that was so stupid.
The Lucha Bros.
Yeah.
That was stupid?
El Zero Miedo, yeah.
Yeah, Penta Zero. Well, his original name was Pentagon Jr. When he was in TNA or Impact, he was Impact World Champion for a while. He's Pentagon Jr. As he's bounced around the indies the last few years, his name has changed several times.
I just think it's like the No Fear sounds like a weird way of saying something.
Penta the No Fear.
Yeah, El Zero Miedo. Like, I think you're trying to say the fearless, but I don't know if that's how you're supposed to say it.
Yeah, I don't know. He just likes to do the Zero Miedo, likes to do the hand gesture. I think it kind of stemmed from that. Once you got a good hand gesture in this business, got to run with it.
I mean, I know there's a lot of Latinos out there that like him. All them white people are not going to know the difference.
What? Not the difference of what?
In terms of the language.
Oh, I thought you meant, I meant him as a wrestler. I was like,
oh no, I meant like they're not going to like try and decipher.
Well, I mean, do you seen him wrestle enough, the Lucha Brothers? Him and Phoenix? I don't think you have.
Ray Phoenix?
Yeah.
I've seen Ray Phoenix.
I think you've seen Ray Phoenix more, which
I've
is
seen
funny.
Ray Phoenix because I saw him, and that match is pretty good. He's pretty good. But he just reminds me of another like Rey Mysterio. I mean, it's very lucha.
Him versus Ricochet would be bananas. Bananas.
But you know what? You had to remind me who this person was because the name, I remember the name, but I don't recall. But I feel like there's a lot of, we already have so many factions with Latinos and...
We have 2 Latino factions.
And luchadors, and all they're going to do is they can come in and like wrestle Rey Mysterio or Andrade or...
Dragon Lee.
Yeah.
Carlito.
Because apparently the Latinos can only wrestle together Latinos.
That's why now Andrade like turned down Legado del Fantasma. Like, people are already starting to be skeptical that Andrade wants to leave WWE because he's just always unhappy. And I feel like he wasn't booked very well at AEW. I feel like he wasn't booked very well in WWE after his NXT run. Like, here's the thing with Andrade for me. How does he connect to the audience? What is his appeal besides good looking, cocky guy? Like, he doesn't have a real character. And I think he was better off in AEW for a bit, but there's too many people like that in AEW.
I think that's everybody's shtick.
And so now he's back here, and it's like, okay, they put him into this thing, and it seems like he doesn't want to be involved with these things. He wants to kind of be on his own, but it's like, my man, like, you're just going to be right back into the U.S. title, Intercontinental title. Like, I don't see Andrade as a main eventer. I don't see him moving up and being a top guy. Like he doesn't have anything about him that stands out. Like, I think actually being involved with a faction and maybe trying to usurp one of the factions, like the Legado and kicking Santos out or something, like, I don't know. But I feel like he's one of these people that it's like, as good as he is, as long as he's been around, as big of a name as he is, and WWE scooped him back up, maybe because of Charlotte Flair saying, hey, scoop my husband back up. But he doesn't stand out. I mean, has anything about him stood out to you since his return to WWE? And he came back, at the Rumble?
Yeah.
Yeah. Has anything stood out to you about him?
I mean, he has a very good presence. He's a good speaker, I think.
Yeah, but what's his character? Like, if you had to tell somebody, Tony, what's Andrade's character? How does he connect to the audience?
Yeah.
Exactly. See, that's my point. And that's the thing. Like, there's nothing there. So I agree with you. Like, if Penta came to WWE, he would probably be utilized, but would he stand out? Would he be as valuable without his brother? Because they've also been their former AEW World Tag Team and Trio champions. Like, as a team, I feel like they're valuable. If they came in together, if Penta and Ray Phoenix came in together to WWE, I'd be like, oh.
There's so many Latinos.
What? There's too many Latinos.
I said so many, not too many.
Oh, so many.
And I think that my issue is a lot of their characters rely on being Latinos, right? Like, even with, like, Damian Priest, as much as I love the representation of, like, a Latino with the title, and he's Puerto Rican, like my peoples, like, even, like, him going into, like, Spanish and, like, doing all this stuff, like, I don't, like, you know, it's weird. I want Latino representation, but I don't want your whole thing to be being Latino. It's a weird comparison, but, like, it's like when you watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine, right? Mm-hmm. There's Amy Santiago and there's Rosa Diaz, but their whole thing isn't being Latinas. They have personalities outside of just being Latinas.
Well, they're a more fleshed out character.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like, Damian Priest, I get, like, his whole thing is, like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, once he kind of became part of Judgment Day, I mean, his other thing was, like, he was the Archer of Infamy, which means nothing. I hate that moniker. It means nothing. So once he got into Judgment Day, and now he's like a big, badass, like, leader type. He took over that group. And so that's kind of, you know, where it's gone. I feel like his Spanish side is speaking. I feel it's like a side part of his character. It's not, like you said, it's not the full thing. Whereas the LWO guys, I mean, you're in the Latino world order.
Like, it's like, look at us. We're a group of Latinos. Like, I feel like, I don't know. Maybe
I was hoping Dragon Lee wouldn't get lumped in with them when they brought him up from NXT, because I feel like he can kind of stand on his own. But at the same time, it's like, how do you get him over with the fans? How do you tell his story?
But
like,
even anybody they're engaging with, like, with Judgment Day, like Carlito, or who's the other one that screwed him over? I forgot. Was it Andrade?
Yeah, it was Andrade. Well,
he looks like the other guy.
What other guy? Santos?
Yeah, I confused them too.
So you're saying that all
them two look alike.
Anyway,
I can say it. I'm Latina.
Prove it. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, and for Penta, he's somebody who's kind of traveled and been involved in so many organizations. He was Impact World Champion. He's been, you know, one of the originals in AEW. But yeah, I don't know. I would like to see him in WWE. I don't think he would be utilized any differently than he is in AEW, like, at all. And the same thing with Andrade. I don't think Andrade is going to be utilized any different in WWE than he was in AEW. It's like, you really got to go in, if you're going to jump ship, and have, like, a creative direction in place. And I don't know if that's the case. I've heard things from people in the business like, yes, when you sign a contract, you try and talk about creative and championships and different things like that. It's kind of like you mull it over a little bit, but nothing's set in stone. Like, I don't think, like, I'm going to have an Intercontinental title feud and a tag team title feud and a world title. I don't think that's done. I could be wrong. But I think for somebody like Andrade, like, if he's already upset after 6 months back, it's like, what did you expect, man? Did you come to them with, like, a plan mapped out? Like, here's what I think will be great, and sit down with Triple H and Nick Khan, the creative team, and go, okay, yeah, this is what we want to do with Andrade this year. Like, I don't know. I could see him go back to AEW. Like, he wanted his release and everything else. It's just weird to me, these guys who have, like, a bigger opinion of themselves, I guess. I don't know. Good reaction. The old shoulder shrug on the video and audio podcast from my lovely wife.
You know what? I think I'm sniffling so much.
Why?
The Fabuloso. So we mopped the floors today.
Fabulous. Oh, well, they're never going to sponsor the show now.
First of all, Fabuloso made our floors look fabuloso. But that scent is very much, like, lingering. It smells good, but I think it's affecting my nose.
You a little sniffly tonight? Yeah, because you don't really have allergies.
No.
And that's the relationship side of the podcast. Your allergies.
But Fabuloso is Fabuloso.
It works well. Might make you sneeze. Got it. Fabuloso. All right, you ready to wrap this up?
Yes.
All right. Thank you all for watching, for subscribing. Linktree, that's where it's all at. Facebook, Instagram, X, Twitter. If you need the Spotify or Apple Podcast links, subscribe on YouTube, thumbs up. And let us know in the comments. I got to start remembering this. Let us know in the comments, who do you think is, like, the big free agent move coming up? Like, say in the next 3 to 6 months. Who would really, as Tony likes to say, move the needle if they jump ship from one to the other?
I didn't create that phrase.
Huh? You did. You trademarked it. Oh, I trademarked it for you. No? Anyway, let us know in the comments. Who's the next big free agent to jump from one company to the other? Does that sound good? And we'll talk about some answers next week, because this free agent stuff's not going away. It's going to be the summer of free agents in professional wrestling. You're out of gas. Say goodbye, Tony.
Bye, Tony.